All right, what's up? Welcome to Working with Woody. We're in the garage tonight working on the gauge cluster out of the 99 Tahoe. A couple things. We're going to repaint these needles because they're all faded in different colors. We're going to replace light bulbs back here. And then one of the big things is the fuel gauge bounces. I mean, it just sits there and flutters the whole time. The needle bounces because the oil inside the gauge motor has dried up. And so you can essentially eject more oil in there and get it going, and keep it from bouncing. So we're going to go ahead and start disassembling this, pop all the needles off, and kind of see what we got going. I did take a picture of where the needles sit when the car is turned on. So what I'll have to do is put the gauge cluster back in the car, turn the key on, let them find home, and then put the needles back on, pointing where they're supposed to be. And hopefully we'll get them back where they're aimed in the right spot. Let's get this cover off of here. It's just got some little tabs on the side. Pop those off. I got a little panel removal tool to pop the needles off. Alrighty, with some gentle prying, I was able to get the front and the back separated. Each of these gauges has its own, called a air core motor, and they're all specific to the gauge. And of course the bad one is this one right here, the fuel gauge. And so it looks like we got a little Torx head to unscrew, and then we can pop it out of there. Alright, these appear to be a T8. See if we can get it undone here. All right, just to show you, if I spin this needle around, it just spins. Yeah, so this stuff is quite thick. I've seen people use different stuff for this, but one guy recommended this. It's actually silicone differential fluid for like RC cars, and it's a 30,000 whatever they measure viscosity in, as opposed to silicone oil that might be 5,000, but the thicker the oil, the better. I've seen a guy use 85W90. See if this works. We're gonna just pull the sucking the air out. That didn't work. All right, so we're gonna do it this way. We'll do it vertically maybe. All right, so I don't know if I did it right. This oil is way thicker than what I've seen people use. But you can see just by spinning the needle now, it is much more dampened, I'll say. So we're going to spin it around and see if we can't get that oil worked in there, and then try it a couple more times. These gauge motors are all different, and see, this one's a P for oil pressure, this one's an F for fuel. You can't swap them around in different spots because then they won't work. All right, let's just go through and test all these, see if they're even worth dealing with. That one's fine. Temperature gauge is pretty loose. Fuel gauge, much better. Oil pressure, it's probably the stiffest one. Speedometer, very bouncy. Tachometer, it's not bad at all. Yeah, kind of crazy, just a little bit of that oil, and it is much more dampened. Maybe it'll last another 25 years. All right, so I injected oil into 3 of these gauges that were real loose, and they're real not loose. So I feel pretty good about that. That wasn't too bad. It wasn't too messy. This little bitty syringe worked fine. I have enough oil to do literally every GMT 400 gauge set in the entire world. Probably twice. We're going to change all these bulbs out to LEDs just because you can tell, like, from the heat from these incandescents over the years, it's kind of discolored the plastic. But it looks like we have 10 of the little bitty ones that light up different indicator lights, 8 of the bigger ones for the general backlighting and whatnot. So we'll just go ahead and take these out one by one. They just twist out of the back, maybe. Maybe I'll get some pliers because it's a terrible noise. Go through all these, pull them out, see if these new ones will go in here. I think they go in either way. The polarity doesn't matter on these newer LEDs. These white backs are, I think the bulbs melted in there. I did order some new backs just in case, because I had seen some other people have troubles with those in particular. So I'll just put one of these a new bulb holder in this one.
OMG.
All right, so I was working on the blower motor over here. I got a new one. I was just testing before I changed it out, and then found this connector. I got voltage on it, but this connector looks pretty bad, so I was thinking that probably just came loose. So I'm gonna cut it off, crimp on a new one. All right, so I've got the gauge cluster back in. It's looking nice and fresh. And I've been working on the brake light switch. It was relatively easy. I got a new headlight switch, very easy to do. New air conditioner control switch, very easy. And then I replaced the left stick here. Not easy to do. You got to take the cover off the steering wheel. The bottom comes off pretty easy. The top, you can't get off unless you pull the lock cylinder out of the ignition switch. Well, to get to the lock cylinder, you got to stick your hand under there and use a pick and push a little button and then wiggle it out, and then the top comes off. And then all the plugs for the switch are way the hell in the back. And it's just a royal pain. So no wonder I don't think people change those very often. I'm glad I did it, because the toothpick, you know, really wasn't doing it for me. So that pretty much wraps up this video as far as the dash and the gauges go. We're gonna start on the door panels, speakers, latches, all that stuff in the next video. So stick around, like and subscribe. Appreciate you watching.